Let's be absolutely real here. For the longest time, superhero films were embarrassed to be superhero films. Especially back in the day in the early 2000s where we had the black leather X-Men, we had armor-plated Batman, and we had Captain America with just so much different military gear, which I really like that look, honestly. It fits for him, right? Everything just had to have its own little military realistic type deal, especially in the MCU where the MCU's trend back in the day was really focused on grounding the costumes first and then building up from there. And I think that's what's really interesting, right? That we were trying to pull superheroes into our world, right? That's what Nolan did with Batman movies, right? That's what Snyder did with Superman and with Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and the Justice League film, right? They were just trying to pull superheroes into our reality, right? But I feel like I really appreciate this new shift in style, especially recently, where we're getting new costumes. We're getting more comic book accurate costumes, right? We are getting new costumes like that new Spider-Man suit, which looks absolutely delightful. It's one of the best costumes I've seen because it feels unapologetically Spider-Man. When I look at a photo of him, I feel like he's real, right? I see that photo of him, he feels real to me, right? I see that and I'm like, that's Spider-Man, unrecognizably, right? And it's just beautiful to see that, right? It's a recognizable hero, right, who's not ashamed to wear the tights and wear it proudly. I adore that so much, and especially with a new Punisher suit that just got leaked out there, right? It looks beautiful. I believe it looks great. It fits the tone of Frank Castle's world and the world that he is in, but it doesn't feel like it's too grounded. It feels like it's a lot more comic booky. It's embracing the more heightened reality, right? He's wearing a full skull. It looks beautiful. And especially with the set leaks we got for Daredevil as well, which he has his symbol. He has the double Ds. It feels nice to see that they're representing the comics and they're representing it quite well. They're not ashamed to represent that part of the comics anymore. It's finally willing to accept the fact that these characters are characters who are not from our world. They're people who are fighting vigilantes or they're fighting other crime lords and all that, and they're fighting aliens, right? It's just, we can tell that shift based on the suits themselves. And we can go from Marvel to DC, where DC has also been embracing a lot more of the comic book elements, right? Especially in James Gunn's new Superman film, where it feels like he's embracing what it means to be a comic book. We're going into their world, right? Not the other way around. He's bringing the comic book world to us, and that's what's really cool. Especially with Superman, looks from head to toe unapologetically Superman, with from the chunks and all. I still don't appreciate the lines all that much, but that's just a design decision for me. But I feel like it's still unapologetically Superman, and I look at him, I think Superman easily, right? And all these other characters, right? We're getting such cool suits like Blue Beetle suit, which is, I still think it's amazing, even if I don't like the film that much. I love that suit so much. Yes, I know everything feels like we're heading towards the right track. We're feeling like superheroes are allowed to be comic booky again, right? And going to the most recent superhero film, which is going to be Fantastic Four, right? It looks unapologetically superhero-y, a lot more comic booky. The world that we are brought into in Fantastic Four feels unapologetically comic booky. It doesn't have to feel like our world. It just feels like a world that we are brought into and we adore it because of the characters that live in it, you know? I feel like the original idea behind why we wanted to ground heroes is so we can care about the world that these heroes are in, right? But I feel like now we can truly appreciate the characters, and the characters help build the world, right? And Fantastic Four looks fantastic too. I think very unapologetically adapted Galactus so well. I really appreciate that though. They made him a big giant who eats plants, right? And they ground him in some emotional reality, into some emotional ungrounded core, while not truly hindering how he cosmetically looks. I think that's what's beautiful here with a lot of these newer superhero films, right, where we're getting a lot more superhero-y type stuff, a lot more comic booky type stuff, which is amazing. You know, I think it's great to embrace what it means to be a superhero film while not losing the charm in it all. You can just have fun with that, right? How James Gunn does his superhero films is how it just doesn't explain some of the stuff, right? How the Guardians look, right? There are wacky stuff out there in the universe, yet it works because that's just how this world works, right? This world works is with aliens out there. There's different types of planets, and there's different kinds of worlds and atmospheres, and we get different types of looks of different characters, right? And I think that's what's so beautiful. You know, I think it's really grounding these characters, right? Emotionally grounding these characters so we can relate to them. Like we really cared about Rocket Raccoon, right? He's a little rocket. We don't look like him. We don't see and feel like him, but yet we feel his emotions. We feel how he feels because we've been in the same spot. We've been where he's been some days. Some days it just feels absolutely amazing to feel this way, and also cathartic to feel this way, especially with the raccoon being a symbol for that, right? I think that's what's beautiful. That's what Gunn does, this type of stuff, and I think that's what's wonderful, right? And I feel like there's no shot to the Russo brothers, right? I enjoy what they've done with the MCU, right? But I don't think they truly embrace what it means to be superhero-y sometimes, especially visually. I don't want to rant that much about Captain America Civil War, but man, I don't think it's a great looking film because I think it's just it doesn't feel like they're embracing what it means to be a comic book film. I feel like they're just embracing to be like a political thriller, which I mean, there's no disrespect to that whatsoever. That's great, right? But don't cheap out on the visuals. I think that's what's one thing. This medium, film is a visual medium, and you got to make it look as pretty as possible. I feel like that's what needs to be done in Doomsday, right? We need to see that done well. And we are looking like we are embracing what it means to be comic booky with the new Spider-Man suit, the new Daredevil suit, which I can gush about, right? With the new Punisher suit, with the Fantastic Four looking the way they do. I think it's a wonderful trend we're heading towards, right? And I hope that we don't shortcut the rest of these heroes because I like where we're going, and I like that we're truly allowing superheroes become and feel very superhero-y, and especially in their projects, in their films and TV shows, just embracing what it means to live in an elevated world of comic books.